Today we had a horrible thing happen. It happens every once in a while. We have a guest scheduled, a beautiful guest, and they no call, no show, giving us no notice whatsoever that they are not planning to join the interview. But the upside is we'll hear from a few of you via Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's go first to Rose from the United States. Rose, the United States is so general, but welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, the audio quality is fine. I know you're quite a stickler for it.
It's quite good, thank you.
Okay. I really feel uncomfortable disclosing my location on the internet. That being said, my question is, there's a really big gap between scientists and the general public, and it feels like the gap keeps growing, and it gets more and more difficult to convey to the general public the precise nature of science and the difficulties associated with it. It feels like scientists are failing as a political entity to talk to the general public. How do you feel about this?
I agree with you. I mean, I think here's the thing. If you told I'm not a scientist, but my instinct is if you told scientists you are failing as a political entity, they would say we're not a political entity. But at the same time, I acknowledge what you're saying, which is maybe it's science education that's failing and critical thinking and epistemology. I don't know, but you're absolutely right in your observation about the effects of it.
What can we do? Because I spent so much time thinking about this because in light of global warming, it's way worse than what most reports suggest. Most people don't know this, but the IPCC is meant to be a sort of a politically favorable take on it. It doesn't take into account multiple feedback loops, including the thawing of the permafrost in the Arctic. It doesn't take into account ocean salinity, which changes the amount of CO2 dissolved in the oceans, etc. So there are like multiple feedback loops going on, all of which suggest that the reality of climate change is going to be way worse than what most people expect.
The situation is more dire, in other words.
Yes, yes. The IPCC reports are the best case scenario, the best possible hypothetical scenario. And yet so many scientists I know personally, and I've talked to them about this, they struggle to get people to understand this, and they're worried that if they actually talk about what's going to happen with real precision and actual facts, that they'll be dismissed as apocalyptic loons. Right. So how
and
they're
probably correct to think that that's what would happen. Yeah, I don't know how to bridge the gap, Rose. I mean, this is an ongoing conversation where it almost feels too late for so many people, and there's also the political machine that wants to stay on fossil fuels that we're up against, and we need to start teaching critical thinking and media literacy very early. I actually have a bunch of books waiting to be read on a pile that deal directly with this issue. And so I'm hoping in a few months, maybe I'll have some greater insights into it, but you're at least identifying the problem correctly.
Could you share the book list? I'd love to read it as well.
I will once I've read the books, because I always want to read books before I recommend them, but absolutely.
Okay. It was great talking to you today.
Rose, thank you so much.
Absolutely. You too. Thanks, David.
All right. There is Rose with a very dystopian but necessary commentary.